new episode with Brice LeConte that I found out that you are French. So that's pretty interesting that you're French. I didn't expect that. But I was looking up at you. I was looking, who, who is this guy? And I was like, oh, I started looking at your company and everything. I was like, no, this is not a normal investor. Actually, this is a visionary. So we're gonna take a different approach instead of going through the boring stuff of why you're buying, or we're gonna go through that, but we're gonna just touch it briefly. I just want to dig on what you're doing, what exactly you're doing, what your company is doing. So super interesting stuff that I'm seeing. So I'm gonna let's dig into it. And happy to have you here, man.
No, I
Happy.
appreciate it. Thanks for having me. Great to meet you, man. It was great to chat there before we started.
Yeah. So I wanted to ask you, what is the vision behind your company? Because I saw you guys, you're building these super cool modular homes, net zero, super sustainable. And well, I was pretty much flabbergasted. I was like, whoa, what is this guy doing? Because there's such many interesting things. So I like, just introduce your company and share the main vision that you have for your company.
Yeah, sure. Well, I appreciate it. Thanks again for giving me the opportunity to chat with you and share some of the thoughts around the company. And as I mentioned to you, as we were getting to know each other, a lifelong entrepreneur, immigrant from France, classic immigrant story, American story of being a lifelong entrepreneur. And like any other passionate entrepreneur, Iunit Communities is a reflection of the things that I'm passionate about: housing, real estate, and sustainability. And I get to merge the two together. The mission of the company is to build sustainable, attainable communities using offsite construction. And when I started the company over 14 years ago, I started to ask myself, right, the question of why don't we have more affordable housing? Why is housing so expensive? And quickly figured out and saw that everything was built one off, everything's custom, right? And when you build things custom, well, things are expensive. That's why the car industry, you're able to buy a car for what you're able to buy it for because they build a lot of them. And so, being originally from France, I was familiar with offsite construction and just started going down that rabbit hole.
Wow.
And actually we started with focusing on multifamily and actually our first project. And at the time, our little claim to fame is we were the first in Denver to build an urban volumetric modular apartment community where the
Wow.
whole apartment building was built in a factory. We built it all in 30 days. In a month we built 40 units in
Wow.
a factory.
Wow.
And in 6 days we put the whole building together. And so when I
6 days?
in 6 days, yes.
Wow.
Yes. And and so when I saw how efficient that was, I was hooked. And right about that time, we also started developing a partnership with the Department of Energy around our initiative of building sustainable housing. And we've had a prototype unit at their research facility in Golden, Colorado, called the National Renewable Energy Lab, where we have a prototype there where we get to test all sort of new mechanical system, new insulation, new software, hardware, anything that it would make our unit more energy efficient. We test it there, and then the idea is that if it works there, then you can graduate into one of the communities we're building. And so, since that time, we've built everything in between, from an apartment building all the way to cottages. And the project that you were talking about previously are our new cottages that are actually going to produce more energy on a yearly basis than they consume. And that was my holy grail. That was really my passion from day one,
Wow.
is one day dreaming of building a home that could actually produce more energy than it uses. And the reason why 14 years ago I couldn't do it is because the technology wasn't quite ready. Solar was super expensive. All the mechanical systems weren't quite there. But now, with all the heat pump mechanical systems that we have and that we're able to put into the home at the factory, really reduces our energy load. And the last missing piece has been the solar shingles. So not a solar panel, but actually shingles that
Oh,
at the factory, instead of installing just regular shingles, we're installing solar shingles, and we're proud of our partnership with GAF, which is the company who manufactures these solar shingles.
oh wow. So basically you're building these houses and they have solar shingle. So they're taking energy from the sun
Yes.
and you
So the roof
store
material, yes, yes. So the roof material itself is solar.
that energy so basically we don't have to use power grids.
That's exactly it. And we have a community that we're working on right now that's on 65 acres where we have 200 of our cottages planned, where we're carving out 7 acres to build a community solar farm. So
Oh
on
wow.
top of the where we're now our microgrid system, right, is actually generating energy for the neighboring community.
Oh, and you're selling it
So in the
or
U.S.,
just
we work with utility companies. You know, in the U.S., I don't know how it is in Europe, but in U.S. as a real estate developer, I cannot be in the energy production business and utility business. So I have to work with that local utility company. But with the local utility company, we partner together, and they sell the energy to the grid.
oh wow. Wow. That's super interesting. Wow. Okay, and so basically my question is this. So are you actually building real estate or are you building infrastructure?
Yeah, so
So,
exactly. So the vertical integration, right? So we're technically structured like a real estate development company, right? In the sense that we're buying the land, we're doing the entitlements, the approvals, we're doing the development, right? But we're added obviously our niche and our expertise in our lane is using offsite construction, energy efficiency, and all the mechanical systems and the microgrid. So we're basically vertically integrating, compiling all that into one turnkey solution.
wow. So you're managing every step
Yes.
from the manufacturing to everything.
Yes.
Installation, operation, also you're also managing the park per se, so the renting aspect of it. So
Yes.
everything
Yes.
from the
Yeah.
factory to I don't
To
have
all the full
to
the
selling
full
energy.
the full cycle exactly. Now obviously on the factories we don't own yet the factories. We have third party factories that we work with that build to our spec and build our boxes. And then same obviously for the solar arrays that we put in this community solar farm. We're not manufacturing the solar arrays, but we're aggregating all that together, all those pieces together to make it work.
Are you planning to also acquire the factories too?
So we've had a lot. That's always on the drawing board, always, and we have investors that are always pushing us to take that leap, and never say never, never say never. But we're blessed here in the East Coast to have quite a few modular factories that we can use, and so the goal is to really maximize that capacity first, and then once we've kind of tapped that out, then I think us having our own production facility becomes more real.
Gotcha. And I was wondering what exactly is as for capitally it's capital efficient to run with modular homes instead of just building the normal mobile home. So what's the benefit of building like the modular home, you know?
Well, it's the efficiencies when your goal is to build a home that generates more energy than it consumes. The low hanging fruit. Before you go put money in solar and mechanical system is really the envelope, right? Because the better the envelope, the better that home is going to retain its either warmth or cold, right, throughout the year. And so modular is a great way to do that. It's a great envelope. And the way we build our envelope is even more energy efficient. So we always make the joke that you could heat the room with a blow dryer because once the nice thing about modular is once the room gets the temperature either in the hottest day in the summer or the coldest day in the winter, because it's so tight, it's like an igloo. it really retains that temperature really well. So you don't need that much energy to keep that going, to keep that energy going.
Wow. Wow. And I was just in touch on the microgrids. I was like, does it does it change the NOI of the park as far? Are you counting as income or are you reducing expenses? How does it look like as
Well,
far?
this is what's great. This is what's great. It's great in life when you can create a win-win, right? And what's great about Iunit communities is we create a lot of win-wins. And on the community I just talked about, that where we have 200 cottages planned, where we have 65 acres, we're only using 30 acres of the land to build the cottages. So we've got 30 acres of excess land, right? So we've got parks, we've got walking trails, but it gives us the opportunity to have 7 acres for a community solar farm. So this is land that we're already not using to develop. So I'm not. So it's not free land per se, but the 200 cottages, the development is more gonna than pay for the remainder pieces of the land. So the basis is very little, right? So for us to add solar on top, it becomes an income producer because now we're producing energy, right? We're selling energy to the grid with the utility company. So now in the performa, it becomes another line item, that another income stream that we wouldn't have had otherwise.
Yeah, right. That's awesome.
And the land's there, right? I mean, so if we weren't doing this, how much would we get from the 7 acres of open space? Zero.
Zero. Yeah.
And then
How much are you getting? Because I don't have even a figure
well,
in
well,
mind.
well, and then what's great with solar, it depends where you're at, but the payback period is every bit under 10 years. I mean, it's between 5 and 10 years, could even be less depending where you're at. So after that period, it's essentially free, right? It's free power because you've paid off the asset. You've paid off all the solar array, and it's a 25-year asset, so they're warranted to produce the energy for 25 years, and they still produce energy after that, but full energy production for 25 years. So you spent the first 5 to 10 years of that 25 years paying it off, and you got 15 years of essentially free energy, free money.
Wow. Wow. That's super smart. I never heard of it before.
Yeah.
I've been talking with a lot of buyers, investors, but never heard that before. Wow. And as far, obviously, you guys have a particular technology. One, do you guys have competitors?
So
Do
in the US, there's very few people, unfortunately, doing what we're doing. There's more of them on the West Coast because the West Coast of the US tends to be more mindful of energy usage and care about sustainability a lot more, although that's changing. And so on the East Coast, no, we don't have, I don't know many developers doing, full microgrid systems, with modular housing. No.
that's crazy. Wow. You're gonna be the first big dog. You're monopolizing the system.
Well, it's a great opportunity, and there's just such a need, and that's what's great about the U.S. market. I mean, the need for housing for affordable workforce housing is massive. It's in the millions. So, even as a company, even if we got to 10,000 homes a year, it's still a drop in the bucket.
Wow. Yeah. Wow. That's incredible. And let's talk a little bit about the AI. I saw such a cool thing that you guys were doing as far the walkthrough AI, that basically you're replacing the realtor. That's my way of seeing it, but maybe it's not, probably it's not just that, but super cool. Basically replacing the realtor, having AI that's basically doing the walkthrough of your product, but like I'm seeing it also for just replacing complete realtor and just using for normal house showing.
Yeah, I mean, well,
Uh,
for us, first and foremost, with these homes, there's so much technology inside of them, right? That no realtor is going to go and read all the specs manuals and become an expert in all those systems, right? And the beautiful thing about AI is we've uploaded all that. So if we had if we had a solar technician, the guy who's working on solar every day, come to see the house, he or she could completely geek out with our AI agent because we've uploaded all the granular information. So first and foremost, it was really for that is we wanted to be sure that all the features that we were putting in the home were being well represented. And but for sure, I mean, our homes, we're not selling $1 million house, right? We're selling workforce housing. So we're location and price point. So people are coming to us because in that area we are the most attainable price point for a new home, right? And so we don't need to have physical person be there to do that. And so what we do is, we like to say is we're human front, human led, and human on the back end, right? So when somebody's interested in one of our houses, they talk to somebody on our team and they're vetted, right? We make sure that they're a good fit, that they're a viable potential buyer, and then we give them a QR code to be able to access the house physically. And once they're in the house, Ava and Milo. We have a boy and a girl. That calls the person as they're entering the house on their phone to welcome them and to be there throughout the whole tour and answer any questions they have about anything about the house, anything about the neighborhood, the schools, anything. And then when the folks leave the house and we know they've left because the house is a smart lock, they leave. Then one of our team members will follow up with them and see if they had any additional questions. So it's a really powerful tool, right? And for me, I'm pro-human, right? So I love AI as a tool. I do not want to help AI replace humans. I wanted to help
Wow.
streamline things and make things more more efficient.
But does the eye stay also after? Let's say you sell the house. Does
Yes.
the eye remains?
Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely. I mean, yeah. Absolutely. Absolutely.
So basically, yeah, the house is gonna be a smart house. So how smart is the house? Because in my brain, I'm imagining, okay, you can do basically everything with your phone. And
Yeah, yeah,
so
exactly, exactly.
how
So,
does
so
it
we,
look like?
yeah, we have the basics, everything, all the smart home capabilities are there, right? But obviously, we don't know what that home specific homeowner is going to want and what features going to want. So, but we've set the foundation and the infrastructure so that they want to add, features on top of that, they can do it. But on their phone, everything, the solar panel that we have, I have a full data, granular data on it. The electrical panel full granular data. So again, if you have an engineer like yourself, you have an engineering background, if you're moving in and you want to know down to the minute data on all your mechanical systems in the house, you'll have access to all that data, you know,
Wow.
and you get super granular with it.
Wow. And any AI integration that I'm missing?
So on the AI integration of that, what we're working on is the AI agent is letting you know how you're doing on your electrical usage versus your neighbor. So they help.
Oh,
They're
wow.
they're a chaperone, they're like so if you're misbehaving, they politely remind you that your energy usage is and I'll make recommendations about because AI is keeping track of all the granular data, so that it's telling you, hey, maybe you want to shut that window in the winter, right, when you get the heat on.
Oh, and what about, hey, you can shut the window for your phone, right?
You could, so there's hardware you could add to the windows to do that, absolutely.
Because I'm like, okay, you should shut your window. Okay, that's fine. Let me do it from my phone. Tap them.
Yeah,
Shut.
yeah. Yeah, and it also depends on how people are comfortable, but the AI agent could completely run the house for you, right? And run things. So if you forget to lock the door, it'll lock it for you. Or if you forgot to adjust temperature, it'll adjust it for you. Or if there's a water leak, it'll notify everybody there's a water leak.
Oh,
Yeah.
wow.
So
Okay.
basically, yeah. So basically, it's helping you run your house.
So it notifies the
Filters, like
tenant. It
if you got a
notifies
bad
you.
filter, it could order a filter for you for a new filter for the house.
Oh, wow. So it notifies you that. probably you're gonna notify the program manager or whatever, also directly call the plumber for you
Yeah,
or
yeah,
whoever needs to come in.
but you as a homeowner, you could set it up that when it notices that the air filter in the HVAC system is going bad, it can order it for you. You can have your credit card information and it'll order the filter for you, so you don't have to worry about ordering it.
Got it. But so are you guys selling to the owner, or are you still keeping the
So
keeping the house?
we've got two divisions. We've got one where we're selling homes to the individual homeowner, and then we've got another division where we're doing for rent communities built for rent,
Oh, okay.
where
Wow.
we own the homes. You know, people are renting the homes. You know, the home is our asset that they're renting from us.
Wow. That's super, super, super cool. That's for public money. Let's talk about grants. Because I mean, imagine there has to be some type of public money, some type of incentive from this government that okay, this has to push. You're doing you're doing you're doing affordable housing, you're doing sustainable housing, so there has to be some type of incentive, right?
There is, and in the U.S. it's state by state, and here where we're based in Virginia, we're blessed to have a great housing authority, Virginia Housing, that has a lot of great programs there to help us fund research. Like we won an innovation grant 2 years ago to fund some of these new cottages that we're building and be able to test them out. So it's great to have that. And then when we go to build larger projects, they have construction loans for us to help us do that.
Wow. And how does research work? Who's doing research?
So we're doing, we're with our partnership with the Department of Energy in
Okay.
the U.S. and through that partnership, when we get a grant from a housing authority, we're all in it together, right? We're all doing research. Well, obviously we're the company building the product, but Department of Energy is benefiting from it because they're learning lessons that they can then write white papers and and teach the industry about new ways of building. And then the housing authority is also seeing what the latest and greatest is in mechanical systems and technology, and then they can also make recommendations to other developers. I mean, the thing I should mention is I created this company so other people could copy me, right? I mean,
Yeah.
we can't, nor do we want to build everything, right? We can't do that. So that's the nice thing about real estate. It's such a big market. So if my goal is to build these projects so others see it and want to do the same, because then and that's where it becomes a win, because that's when we've really changed the industry.
Wow. 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 Super powerful. Incredible. Incredible stuff. And are you guys also working with universities, college students, and all that stuff?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. We work with, I went to Johns Hopkins real estate program, development program, and I'm actually thinking about potentially teaching a sustainability class there. And so we,
Oh,
to talk about everything that we're doing and motivate and incentivize the next generation to be a part of this solution. And we're working with Virginia Tech as well on some of the research that we're doing. So yes, I mean we love working with universities.
oh wow. That's super, super
Yeah, I mean the goal,
interesting.
the goal, like any founder, right? I mean my goal, my energy and my thesis of life is the goal of life is to be of service, right? And so my goal has always been, how do I use my entrepreneurial talents to try to make a difference, right? And so my goal is not to be the richest man in the cemetery. That is not my goal. My goal is to have as much positive impact as I can, on people's lives, on people in my family, my community, my industry. That's my goal. That's what drives me.
Oh wow. And are you guys also selling your quote unquote infrastructure? Let's say one other guy came in with his park and say, okay, let me I want to work with you guys because I want my park to produce to produce an energy, and plus I also want my park efficient. How does it look like?
Yeah, we've had, we always have those type of discussions with other operators and other developers. We haven't officially done a JV yet. It's just it's hard, right? Because most developers, operators, they're like me in a way. I mean, they like to control, they like to drive their ship, right? And they and they have a certain way to drive that ship. And for them to do what we're doing, they have to give up a lot of control, right? And because they don't know, they're not in depth knowledge that we have of what we're doing, it's hard for them to do that. And for us, we're not going to get involved in something that's not going to be true to our mission and what we're trying to do. I mean, we've got plenty of work with what we're doing ourselves. So it's really been a case by case basis. I hope to one day do that with a JV, and when we're open to it.
Okay, cool. And what type of money do you attract as far? My question is, do you get a lot of private money? Like, okay, I have mom and pops, they have 10, 20, 50K. Oh yeah, I like your vision. I like what you're doing. Can I be part of you, or it's more institutional money? I'm assuming more institutional money, but it's just my assumption.
Yeah, so in the past it's been more institutional money, but I want to get to a point where it's more diversified. I want folks who have 20, $50,000 to have an opportunity to invest in our communities.
Wow,
Because if they're as passionate as I am about what we're doing, I want them to have an opportunity to invest with us.
wow. Hey, audience, if you're listening to it, if you're interested in investing it at price, you can find it anywhere. YouTube, LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram, everything. Brice LeConte or Bryce LeConte for the American.
The American.
Yes, but there we go. If you want to eat him up, he's open up to a lot of investor. You should use what is it called? Oh my God, fractional.
Yeah, I have, yeah, I've started to look at that, and I think that I'm glad you bring that up because I have started to look more at that. And I think that could be a good way for us to get to folks that who want to put 25, $50,000 and have a community of them in one of the projects we're doing. But like you said, I'm easily to find. I mean, there's not many, you know, Brice Lecomte, in what I'm doing. So if you Google my name, I'm usually top of page. So if you need to find me, you can find me.
There we go. There we go. And last but not least, where are you investing right now? What markets are you in? What markets do you like? Because so that you started in Denver, Colorado, I miss a lot of the
Yes,
stuff
so a
is
lot
in
of yes
Denver.
we've done so a lot of stuff we've built is in Denver, but now we also have a lot of focus in the southeast because I've since relocated from Denver to Northern Virginia outside of Washington D.C. and so a lot of focus is in the southeast. And that's where a lot of the growth in the U.S. is happening in the southeast, and so Virginia, North Carolina, South Carolina, Georgia, Kentucky ground up, obviously looking for land to do ground up cottages that we're building, and also we're redeveloping some mobile home parks with our energy efficient homes, and also starting to look at RV parks as well, communities.
Wow. So yeah, very easy in those markets. But in my mind, when I think about value add and what you're saying, I'm just like, there's no other solution than just build from the ground up. I mean, how do you look at the value add when, let's say, someone is sending to you an existing mobile home park? And, I mean, discounted enough, but how do you look at it as far bringing your type of project to action?
Yeah, so
You already have an existing mobile home park, and
yeah.
what are you gonna do?
So when we look at that, it's really, we like to work with something that is ready to be redeveloped, right? Where there's a lot of empty spots because we're really going to completely rebrand it and redevelop it to an energy efficient community. And so we're not the buyer that's going to buy a fully occupied, mobile home park, that's fully stabilized because there's not that opportunity for us to put our stamp on it and bring our secret sauce and our process too. And so we like to work on parks that need to be redeveloped. And also so where the opportunities are, right? Because those are parks that need to have somebody go through it and put the money and the time to make it happen. And so that's really the focus on that end. And any value add deal that we look at needs to have that story, needs to have that true value add redevelopment kind of foundation there.
Yeah, but yeah, my question is more specific as for value add. When you're looking at a value add, you're saying info spot, or you just gonna knock down everything and just rebuild it, or you can
No,
just adjust just say the mobile, just readjust it and make it just put it solar shingles and
no. When I say value add, so when I say obviously it's much easier to work for with an empty lot, right? So if
yeah,
let's say for example, there's a 50 lot community, right, that we're looking
yeah,
at. It's much easier if there's only 8 lots that are there because that means I got 42
so
vacant that I can bring a new home on. And then let's say there's 8 homes that are there. We're happy for those folks to stay there as long as they want, to. And then, but the day they leave, they choose to leave, and for the most part, a lot of times when people leave, that home is so old that it's not worth moving, so they leave it there, right? Or we buy it for not much money. Well, then when that home becomes vacant, we'll yank it out, right, and then bring a new
hmm,
a new home in. But that means on a 50 lot park, we only have 8 that are fill, right? So we only have 8 that we have over time to refill, and we've got 42 that are already empty.
got it, got it.
So
Okay.
that's why which is good for us. We're like the opposite, right? Because a lot of mobile home park investors, and I get it, they're not in the business of ground up development and all that, so they want to buy a 50 unit park. They want to buy as full as possible. They want to buy one that's 48 homes full with 2 empty. I want
Yeah,
the opposite. I
it's the
want
opposite.
48 empty and 2 full. And then
Wow.
then also we get a better deal, right? I mean, that's also the opportunity because the roads are in, the infrastructure is in, the zoning is already done. So it's also a good opportunity for us business wise.
Wow. And that's for market type. I'm thinking right now, but I guess also where you at. For example, I'm thinking about a couple of deals that we're working on, that we had work on also in Texas and Arizona, but I guess also in South Carolina and North Carolina. There's this zone. There are pretty much workflows, and they're really attached to factories and
Yes.
all that stuff. Are you guys trying to avoid that? Are you guys going transient? What
Yeah,
type
yeah. I
of
mean, yeah, very selective on that. I mean, we like markets where, yeah, very selective. I mean, we'll look at that. I mean, we're real estate guys. We like to look at we like to look at
yeah.
everything. We like to look at everything, but for sure, we like it when it's close to a hub, right? Universities, hospitals, a major town, so that if the factory closes, there's
Yeah,
other levers there that we can pull from.
got it. Got it. Wow. Wow. And last but not least, do you guys have, let's say, a 200 units? Does it scare you guys, or are you guys feel comfortable to
No,
50? Do you guys
no. I
have
mean,
any limit?
no.
And
Well, the bigger the better because it's almost easier to do a 300 unit deal than it is a 50 unit deal because the capital is a lot easier to raise. There's a 50 park deal. The family offices and the kind of those institutional investors, that's too small for them. And so 250 unit one, that's like 1 or 2 phone calls.
that's right. Wow. Wow.
And then if you're going to go somewhere, if I'm going to travel somewhere for a deal, I'm doing the same traveling, right? As if I'm going to see a 50-unit deal as I'm going to see a 200-unit deal. So that's what's nice about real estate is it's skills, economies of skills are very important.
Yeah. Let's put it out there that you're also a pilot. So when you say you fly there, you're actually flying there.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and there's no better way to, there's who, who takes the aerial shots? I do. There's no better way to fly over the property and take, open the window and take pictures. And so in the, in the marketing, in the OM, I've got I can have my own pictures of the actual property.
And do you own your planes or
Yes, yeah.
what plane are you
I've got a
flying?
Beechcraft.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I am not an expert, but hanging out with sub two, there's also the plane section guys and they're doing their stuff.
Yeah,
I
well,
guess.
you should work on your license. It's an amazing thing. I mean, I've always dreamed of being a pilot since I was a kid, and I pinch myself that I get to do it. So I'm really blessed.
Well,
I
yeah,
feel
definitely
blessed.
you definitely definitely you are.
It's the American dream, from France. Like this is, I mean, like this doesn't happen in France. I mean, in America, it's like there's airports everywhere, and you land somewhere and they have courtesy cars. They have like, the old police cars, that are retired. They put them at the airports so that when people like me come in for business, we can use the car for free. You know, and in France, they would never do that because they would think you steal the
Yeah.
car.
Yeah, not even in Italy. You cannot do that. Definitely. Definitely.
So
Wow.
it's just, it's a great country. It's a great place to be an entrepreneur, and there's so much opportunity, and the market's so big, and yeah, there's lifetimes worth of opportunities in the U.S. So much so that you kind of have to say no to things. It's like you've got to find like kind of the middle ground. Because you can. And a lot of people do. A lot of people lose themselves in the ever-ending opportunities. But you've got to, you only live once. You got to try to find some balance in your life. And I think the older I get, and having three young kids, I try to maybe do a better job of that.
Yeah, definitely. You're definitely leaving a big legacy
Yeah, especially the
behind.
Southeast. I mean, that's why I just focus on the Southeast because, the country's so big. I mean, if Texas and Arizona and it's so far. I mean, yeah, technically I could go there, but then I'm longer gone, and I don't want to. I love my kids.
Yeah. Yeah. And last but not least that I wanted to ask you that I'm curious. The more we're talking to, I was thinking if you let's say you go to the open market, let's say you want to sell one of your parks. I get or you want to refi your park. Are you getting another cap because I guess you're putting in a super product. I mean, so you can just
Absolutely.
those
I,
4% cap rate, I guess. Can you get
absolutely,
those number?
absolutely, and that's part of the reason as well. I mean, it's not the main reason, but again, another
Hmm.
win-win of this business model is guess what happens when you do when you go above and beyond, when you bring in new homes, when you bring in energy efficient homes, when you do all that, guess what happens when you go do the permanent financing? Lenders, bankers are that much more happy to give you a loan and even better terms because you've really built a really well-oiled machine, that has really great tenants, that's energy efficient, and that they would much rather give you a loan on that than on a tired, 50-unit mobile home park where all the houses are still from the 1970s and you just continue to paint and continue to patch and you know like
Yeah.
which one are they gonna pick?
Yeah, but I believe that you're getting also better terms that are new ground up, with that is not using your technology. I mean,
Absolutely. No, absolutely. I mean, absolutely. I mean, Fannie and Freddie, the government perm programs that are out there, we're checking all those boxes. It just this is the great thing about win-win. The great thing about doing affordable workforce housing that is sustainable is you're checking all those boxes.
that's that's beautiful. Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Super
So I,
excited.
I mean, initially, 14 years ago when I had this mission of doing this, I didn't know the boxes, you know, and the boxes didn't weren't like 14 years ago, they weren't as much as they are today, right? So it wasn't my premise of the model. It wasn't, hey, let me build this company so I can check on those boxes. But it's been the reward, right? It's been like going through all this. Now the reward is, well, you check a lot of boxes.
Yeah, that you definitely check all of those.
Yeah.
Wow,
You
that's
know,
a
and I've got and my name is Brice, so it's like it's even, you know, you
even better.
know.
Thank you so much for being here, for spending this time with the podcast. Definitely, you're definitely leaving something big behind. I mean, while you're talking, I see not only there in the US, all around the world, because you have such a big vision, such a big project that you're developing. So it was really nice to having you.
Yeah, man, I really appreciate all that, and I appreciate you giving me the opportunity. And you know, I'm excited to see the channel grow, and excited to see the work that you're going to do as well in real estate. You know, and having an engineering background is a great foundation, man, because a big part of everything we do in real estate is engineering, right? It's having an engineering mind to put it together. So you having that background is going to serve you really well. And you know, I'm excited to see, you know, your work going forward, and happy to help any way I can.
Thank you. I appreciate it. So again, guys, this is Brice LeConte. Thank you so much again. If you guys have any deal, you know, as well as always, the may match risk criteria, you can find it anywhere. You can send it to me. I'm gonna send it to him. So you guys have know how to reach out to us. We want to look at you guys' deal and make some money together.
Absolutely. There's plenty
Li-
of it.
Live the live the
Plenty to go
American
around.
dream. So you guys can find again Brice LeConte on YouTube. You can see I'm gonna put it down below. His link to his channel.
Yeah. Help me. I've got 2 subscribers. So just,
I got one. I got
you
one.
know,
What talking about?
help a brother out.
You should help me.
Help hit that subscribe button. Well, I'm gonna hit yours. You'll hit mine. So at least we'll be up one.
There we go. There we go. Thank you so much. Thank you so
Thanks, man.
much. And to the next one.